Días, tardes.
Buenas tardes a todos. Man, I am so excited, brother. We are here. What do you
I
think?
know, right? I'm just really excited. We're gonna do a little celebration today of being able to do this for 1 year. It doesn't even, well, we always say that, don't we? It doesn't seem a year, or does. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it has been a year, and we're gonna do a little celebrating tonight.
Yeah, what matters is that we're here. We have so many people to thank for, but the one person I want to thank is the man up above. We have, thank you, God, gracias a Dios, that we've been given this opportunity to be here, and to be together and to be doing this together. You and I, together with our manager, production manager, my son, Israel Nájera, but so many people have contributed. I mean, sometimes people don't realize how much it goes to doing this, right?
What
And
you mean we don't just press live,
nope,
at 7 o'clock and see what happens?
nope. I mean, we could sit here and probably talk for 3 hours what goes behind the scenes when you're trying to do a podcast. But gosh, we're in for a treat today to show everybody where we started and where we are today. So today we decided that our guest was going to be our viewers. So we want our viewers to participate and tell us as much as possible. But brother, I personally want to congratulate you for your idea, for your for pushing this idea through. And I've got a few stories to share about my situation and kind of my feeling and how I evolved into this podcast. But hey, man, congratulations on your 1 year anniversary.
Well, let's congratulate each other. I mean, it was originally my obsession. My personality type is when I hang on to something or cling on to something, I'll research it to death and try to master it. And not that we've mastered anything, but it's been a multi-year effort to get even to the first video, which we're going to play in a minute. But let's congratulate each other, because I mean, it's one thing that we got here, but it's another thing that we have just a great collaboration. So congratulations to you as well. You do as much work as I do.
Thank you very much, and I agree, man. Last year when we started, we actually, just so that everybody knows, we started exactly a year ago today. So we did our first show. We didn't have a guest in our first show, and it was on April 14 to 2020, and we had no clue what was going to be of the world. We just
Right.
knew that we wanted to launch this new project, and I backed up my brother on it, and again, here we are. It's been an amazing journey. We still have a lot to learn, a lot to do, and a lot to execute on, but I'm very excited, man. Very excited for the future.
Well, we know what sound interfaces are now, and all the two different types of mics, condenser. We know all kinds of cool stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because it is a live show, we always may have glitches, and I hope we don't today. But the first thing we want to do today is play a little bit of that original video, if we can.
Well, before you get there, I think we have a big surprise for our.
Oh,
for
yes, I'm
yep,
sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
No problem. Mhm.
Before we do that, before we get into the details of this, we wanted to thank, well, number one, people who watch us and spend time with us every Wednesday evening, but especially the people who have spent time with us as guests. So we have two giveaways, which hopefully will be available for anyone later, but for now they're exclusive to the folks who have been our guests. And then folks who are listening today, and we'll give instructions in just a minute. But the first one is going to be this, which, yeah.
Sweet.
Now, this is mine. This was actually a gift from my daughters for Christmas, and it was a pretty emotional, of all the things I opened, this was pretty emotional because, as you said in one episode, this is where you know that it's working because it means something, to people, instead of just, going live and just, running our mouths. But a replica of this is going to be available. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our guests, put their names in a drawing, and then whoever we pull out is going to get exactly one of these. So hopefully some of those folks are listening. If not, we'll let them know. But But that's what this one's going to be. Now, the second one is the one that's fun and the one that this is. And before I say how this is going to be done, let me give a plug to where this came from. So Blakely Hernandez, who is our neighbor, longtime friends, everything like that. Actually, her husband was one of our guests, and their business. She is a representative with Origami Owl. She has been for many years, and they produce this. I have one. Well, you can't see me on the camera, but it kind of looks like a dog tag, but not really. It could be a necklace or a keychain. Mine is in silver, so you can't really see the inscription, but they do it in black now, and so you can really see that inscription. So if you are listening as a guest, as a listener tonight, you need to put your name in the chat. You know, we're gonna shame you into putting your name in the chat tonight, because that is the only way that you're gonna get a shot at winning. You know,
right.
The before released Problems and Opportunities podcast merchandise. And so whoever puts their name in the chat again is going to be who we put in the drawing, and who will have a chance to win this. And we can make it a necklace or a keychain, whatever fits best. So that is what that is about. We wanted to do a couple of nice things for both our listeners and our guests.
Yep, that's great swag. I can't wait to get my hands on that second one. No, but you were right. You said for our guest tonight, our viewers are our guest tonight. So you were right. You said it correctly. So type your name in our comment section for our video today, and grab a chance to win the second one.
Yep, type your name, or you're not going to get a shot to do it. Let's see. Let's see if we got anybody. Okay. Well, we'll see how it develops. Okay. So, let's play a little bit.
Oh, man. A year ago.
Let's play a little bit about how it all started. And again, let's hope technology is everything we ever want it to be. Now,
keep in mind, you guys have to bear with us. This is our very first show a year ago, and we did not practice, or we did not. We prepared for it, but we did not. We've been doing live shows since day one, so it's not like we recorded this and edited, and
Yeah, we'll get into the details of that, but we decided to go live instead of the standard. I wouldn't call it the standard podcast production, and there's reasons for that. We'll get into them a little later, but I'm not going to play the whole video, obviously, but just a little bit so you have an idea what this was like 1 year ago today. And there's a funny story about, well, there's a lot of funny stories.
You know, when I was watching this, I was trying to figure out what you were thinking while I was trying to talk. And
well, if anyone can see my setup, I've got like 3 or 4 screens going.
Uh-huh.
And though we didn't know if anybody was listening, I was sure busy pretending like a lot of people were listening.
Right. You know, my whole cowboy hat, the story behind that was because I was like you, I was nervous to get on camera. It's not easy. Again, I go back to my comment. It's not just like getting some headsets and turning on your mic and hitting play, right? So when you told me, hey, let's do this, I think you told me like a week before, right? I knew I needed some kind of prop to help me with my, okay, you're gonna go live on camera to do a podcast. So that's the story behind the cowboy hat. But since then, I mean, I've grown out of it. I don't need a cowboy hat anymore.
Well, I think that was a good decision.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stop sharing that. But that was let's just call it day one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, hang on.
First show.
That was first show, and what was funny is this microphone that I still use, which is working now, by the way. It was not then. I figured out in one of the episodes we'll talk about later that it was never working. I was I was wearing a set of
Oh,
I use the word Rolex for expensive stuff, and my girls had these beads or beats. I can't remember exactly what the exact name is, but they have a microphone, and that's the actual microphone that was broadcasting instead of this big thing. But then I figured out what sound interfaces were, and how the mixers, how the sound traveled through 14 computers and all that.
that's awesome.
So that was a taste of that, but let's get the official show started. So with that, my name is Javier, and we are Problems.
And my name is Jorge, and Opportunities. So the very first thing we want to do is I want to really take a time to thank my son Israel Nájera. So Israel Nájera, he's been an integral part of this podcast. I mean, not only has we've mentioned it numerous times in our shows that he not only produced our music, wrote and produced our music, but he also does all the graphics around it, and then he produces the live shows. So he is definitely, as you say, sometimes it goes unseen because it's he's behind the scenes. But son, if I really want to congratulate you as well. You're part of this team, the three of us, and I want to welcome you into the show so that you can say hi to everybody. You get to be part of the show tonight, so come on in and say hello to everybody for us.
There he is.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
It's weird because, I'm usually in my underwear, just clicking buttons.
That's about right.
But I had to suit up and look decent in front of the camera this time. So
yeah, and like I said, I just want to congratulate you as well. What you do is not easy, and sometimes we're texting you or calling you at 10 at night or 7 in the morning and changing stuff that we got to do, but all in all, man, you've done a great job.
Absolutely,
Thanks.
Especially when he's getting orders from people who understand less about technology than he does. But one of the things I wanted to say is for people who have ever wondered about this, or we had no experience. We had we were taught by some really good people some key points, but one of the things that we did was we actually have what we call a closed practice group, and hopefully that never gets released into the world. But that's where we actually test a lot of this stuff. I mean, it really, it's right. And sometimes in the middle of the night and early in the morning, we're doing testing for different things we're doing, depending on the guest.
Yep. Yeah, and even then, it doesn't go 100% correct, and especially if we're gonna present a new idea or a new concept, it's not that easy. But so Israel, I know we always ask our guests, to give us a little feedback or insight, and I think I really want to take this opportunity for you to talk to our guest a little bit, as working behind the scenes for this podcast and helping us now for what it is, for a year now. Tell our guests what this podcast has done for you. What are some things that you've learned through your journey of this podcast, doing the production?
Well, I mean, it's been a great experience so far, especially since it's not just a responsibility, but it's with the family. It's a lot more exciting and interesting when it's with people you love. And I mean, it's really cool because I consider this a job, kind of this is kind of my first job, and it's really cool because people will be at McDonald's and stuff, and I'm here working as a producer for a podcast. And I mean, it's cool. It's done a lot for me. It makes me feel a lot more. It's taught me a lot, such as responsibilities and being somewhere at a certain time to do something, and if you're asked to do something, you get it done. And you just get it done. Yeah, that's pretty much the responsibilities.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna interject a little bit and show off that, like you said, because that's exactly what you said. This is a responsibility. So we titled our podcast "From Problems Come Opportunities." So not that we had a problem, because this is a very, very healthy activity for us, but you came in and solved a lot of problems for us, because in the beginning we were moving screens, trying to keep up with everything. I want you to tell folks what you did almost 2 weeks ago, meaning you helped me with another type of broadcast, but I want you to tell what that was and, what kind of event it was, and then what. So, the point is you had an opportunity that I don't know that a lot of people have had.
The wedding, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, a few weeks ago, you called me and you were basically like, "Hey, man, there's gonna be a wedding going on," and I was confused at first. I was like, "Okay, that's cool, a wedding, yeah, those are fun." And he's like, "Yeah," and like I eventually caught on and like, "Oh, you want me to?" Okay, so he offered me to help me out. I mean, he offered me like a
An
thing to
official
do.
job, an
Yeah,
official
like
duty to basically produce
To produce
basically
a
what
wedding.
we're doing here, but produce a wedding because we had two different angles for cameras and things like that. But the point is that you had an opportunity to show off what you have learned here, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's just I get to apply this knowledge in different circumstances, and it's it's a lot of fun too. Um, sort of improvise like in the second. There's like because
Mm-hmm.
there's also like these small little things like during the wedding there was this guy who
Yeah,
like
he got in
decided to
front of the
stand
camera.
right in front of the camera. Like he was
and,
covering the whole wedding, and I was like, oh
Right,
my
and
god.
and I didn't have you in my ear because I was doing other things, and so we couldn't, like we do here where we chat, we we'll go back and forth if we have a problem. You couldn't do that, and you did a real good job in improvising because you knew that was a problem, but you knew you also had another angle.
Yeah.
And what I was going to comment is that I think it's even a bigger compliment of what you've accomplished because you've done it all virtually, right? Because I think most of the time when these podcasts are done, there's been a few podcasts that I've been watching where almost everybody's in the same room, especially the producers. So there's like every host has his own producer with them in the room. And they're
Mm-hmm.
they're handling different things, handing over sheets and switching computers, whatever. You've basically handled both of us virtually through your own place, so that's not easy to do. So
Right.
that's good, very good.
Exactly. So I think one of the things we wanted to do early on is to showcase our guests because without guests, then it's just us, and while we can talk forever, it may not be anything that anybody wants to listen to. But that's one of the things that was for me one of the biggest challenges because, well, it's time, and then we're doing it live, and then how is this really going to work? We try to choose people that we felt could speak to finding opportunities from problems. And man, I got to tell you that it sounds, I hope it doesn't sound bad, but I've been so impressed with the kind of people that have given us our time to do this.
Yeah, and what I want to add to that is that you don't have to specifically be any type of like business or in any entrepreneurship or I don't know. I mean, you just I do want to say today that if you've got an idea you want to share and
Right.
you feel like, hey, I can do this, I can go live on the podcast and talk to share my point of view, share my experience. It could be anything. I mean, if you think about the problems and opportunities, and how you can relate it to whether it's your business life, personal life, whatever it is. Hey, email us, right? You can email us at problemsandopportunities@gmail.com, or you can send us a quick text. If you have my number, if you have Javier's number, just send us a quick text. Let us know, hey, you know what? I've got this idea for the podcast. You absolutely are welcome. I agree with my brother. Every guest that we've had here, they've absolutely had something really good to share, and they always leave something behind. And that's what I've loved about this.
Yeah, and thanks for saying that because that's exactly it's a little bit about the I guess the background or the early and by the way, no nomás en inglés, puede ser en español también. Ideas, hemos tenido personas que los shows son en español. So igual, correo electrónico, una llamada o un comentario en el grupo, lo que sea. But that was one of my thoughts because you go to a lot of podcasts, of course, you're going to look for let's just say maybe the most, public figures. I don't want to say successful because success is different for everyone. But they try to get people who are going to grab attention, and we wanted to do the opposite. We wanted to give anyone who had a story to tell, which we all have a story to tell, the opportunity to come into a place like this and tell us exactly what that story is. And we've been so surprised and so blessed with what we've heard from different people. I mean, it's pretty amazing. We had a realtor who's also a bodybuilder. I mean, just crazy things that maybe you would have never, most of us are never going to be interviewed by any news media or anything like that. But this is an opportunity to tell your story.
And I'll tell you something. I think the biggest ideas come from those who we least expected. At least that's where, I've gotten most of my thoughts, cleared, or, you'd have a conversation with random individual, even a stranger, and it's amazing the things that they have to share. So I'm telling you, if you guys ever want to be part of this podcast, just give us a shout out.
Yeah. And by the way, we do Wednesdays. It's not set in stone. Why Wednesdays? Because it's my favorite day of the week. I spent a lifetime in mortuary service or funeral service. And so our weeks are not, Monday through Friday necessarily. And so for a while, Wednesdays were my day off. And I just have a lot of great, I don't know, yeah. Wednesday just is a great day, kind of middle of the week kind of thing. And we feel it's a great opportunity to do something like this. So, but let's get into the part about our guest. So we're going to share another screen. It's kind of going to be 1 through 36, basically. We'll have a lot of memories about that. So let me get that going.
Yeah. So these are our memories from, it's pretty much to thank and commemorate all our guests that have been with us. And, just want to make sure that we really thank them. I mean, they were a big part of our success up to this point. And, but what better way to share this moment? But, oh, look at that.
Wow. I don't know if I did that right. Hang on.
Yeah, so that first logo that you saw on the screen. Yeah, no problem. That first logo that you saw on the screen, that was I think I did that on the Snapchat app.
Yeah, I remember we were outside eating. And then you were like, I don't know, we're looking for a design. And then all of a sudden, I just see you turn around, take a picture of our backyard. And then you're like, you're just messing around with your phone. And you're like, this is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I think we just needed something quick.
Yeah. It was great, though. But yeah, I could tell you were super excited. It looked like you were joining Magic Camp. Like if you were a 12-year-old joining Magic Camp.
Yeah.
It was great.
Okay, I'm going to restart it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The picture on that, yep, you're exactly right. The picture on that screen is a picture of our backyard, and then I just went in there and started, because I think we did last. My brother and I and my sister helped us a little bit with trying to decide a name for the podcast. So we were going back and forth for a little bit. It wasn't originally Problems and Opportunities. I mean, there was a lot of things that we were trying to, but it's important. I mean, it's important to really think about what you want to convey through your podcast versus just coming up with some random, name.
Yeah.
So I think, we went for it for about 2 weeks and we finally got it. I think I still have all the text messages where it shows all the names that we came up with. One day I'll look it up, but man, it was pretty random.
Oh wow, really? Wait, I didn't know that. You guys had like
we had
different names.
Yes, we went back and forth between the three of us, and we wanted to involve my sister because she's pretty creative with those things, and we went back and
okay. Sorry, we missed the original logo, but we'll get back to it at the end of the show.
Yeah, no, they saw it.
So this is, we call her guest one because the first one was just us. There's the great Dan, who has now also come on Monday Morning Quarterbacks. One of the funnest guys I know.
If he could be in all our podcasts, he would. I mean, he just has a story to tell every time, man. And that's what's been unique. That's what's been unique about all our guests. I mean, they're all different in their own way, but they've always all been very excited to join us, and that's great.
This is Victor, and Victor was the first to get close to. I haven't looked back, but it was at least 700 to 800 viewers.
Yeah, he was at 800 viewers last time I checked. This guy has a great smile. He
Yeah.
was laughing through the whole thing.
Well,
He
and
later
husband
told
of
us,
our,
yeah, that he was pretty. He was really nervous on the podcast.
yeah, and husband of Blakely, who we're going to get that necklace from. Very successful realtor here.
Yep.
Who's also, and of course, this is my pride and joy, or one of them. My
Yep.
daughter, Tiana, my oldest, she was talking
This
about her
was-
journey with diabetes.
That was a great podcast. She shared a ton of information, valuable, and I the
And
comments.
by
are
the
great
way,
on that
real
one.
quick, I'm sorry, real quick, she's about to start her own. She's
Oof.
asked our producer for help. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have another broker from El Paso, and like I said, I mean, a lot of these guys love being on camera. We do. I mean, as business owners and realtors, insurance agents, I mean, we want to get in front of cameras. It's not easy, but you know, anybody
there's
can
our
do it.
producer.
Mhm.
Oh man,
Yeah.
look at that hair.
Look at that
There's
hair.
our producer
It's
extraordinaire.
getting worse.
Yep. You talked
Yeah.
about
This was a
your
great
music
show.
journey. Mhm.
Oh, he's the
Yep.
the founder of let's just call it football in Juarez. I'm gonna always give him that title, the Godfather. Oh, and there's Mom.
So we had a show in September dedicated to my mom. She was our guest. She had also, I don't know, she's past 800 viewers. I mean, it was a great show.
Yeah.
So this-
honoring her.
Is when we changed platforms, as you guys can see.
Yes, we went from Zoom to
Yep.
the current StreamYard we use. Much better if
Yeah.
you ever want to do this.
Yep.
And then
That's
Crystal,
where I started
another
joining,
great
like, I
show
started getting
was
more involved.
Yep.
yeah, and also the first YouTube broadcast.
That's right.
And this was
Crystal
our first
our
technical
first-
situation.
yeah, but that's what
Oh
we,
yeah,
we had to
Oh,
restart.
the whole thing.
We had to
Oh,
restart
man.
twice. Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Our first couple.
Great,
they're also
very
brokers.
successful couple there.
Yep. They were fun too.
Another professional
Um,
musician who's trying to break in the music world.
Yep. She's a local talent here in El Paso, Legna Villalobos.
This must have been Thanksgiving. This is
This
her
is
sister.
Thanksgiving. Our sister was our guest, and we were thanking. You know, we said our thanks. It was a great
And this
one.
was the most horrible technical support. We couldn't get rid of an echo.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
That was a great show.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mrs. Reinhardt has had the most views on YouTube. Period. She's close to 300 there.
yeah, she's one of my favorites. Too.
Super Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday. This one was a fun one too. I agree. Here we had
With
another
Judy, I
issue.
fell off the feed about her seconds.
We had no idea what happened to you. You were gone. AWOL.
Yep.
Yeah.
My internet well, my computer decided
Yeah.
to kick me off the Wi-Fi. That was a
That's
mistake.
great.
Yeah.
Current
And,
candidate for city council in Arlington, and current candidate for mayor in Arlington. And the first time
This
we did it together in the same
Yeah.
room.
Same room in Arlington. Very, very fun one too. We must have
It
spent.
was probably I don't know how we could top this one with Jessica.
Yeah.
She's gotten close to 1,000 views, but she had a very, very powerful message. How do they say that? How do the kids say it now? This is then and this is now? Or what's the
This
message?
is then. This is then, and then this is now. It's been an incredible journey. Something that I said it at the beginning. Something that I've been very proud of, and it's taught me a ton of lessons. Through the journey, and I wouldn't take it back for anything. It was great.
Right. That was St. Patrick's, and that was the day we were in the same room interviewing Jim Ross, and we were able to. Yeah, that was. I mean, obviously that is the goal. We have visions of being able to do this more in the same place, in the same room, maybe even remote. We have lots of, as my dad says, yeah, you're full of a lot of things. I'm full of a lot of ideas, but
But let me see. Let me see.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna
what
say what he's full. What he says I'm full of, but that is a walk through history right there.
And so again, thank you so much, everybody that were we're in our shows, and we I can't I can't even explain. Like, there were a lot of emotional moments. There was a lot of things that I've learned with every single one of you, and we even if you want to come back and be a guest a second time, just because you have more things to share, by all means, just reach out to us and let them know. But I think this is a very, very good segue, brother, for us to tell a little bit about what the podcast has done to us. What has problems and opportunities and just in embarking in this journey meant to you and done for you. I'll let you start.
Well, for me, I kind of told that story on the original post, on the original event post. That is really true. If Justin ever listens to this, there was a closed group for insurance professionals, and the idea was you go in there, literally record yourself, and say 3 goals for the day, and it didn't have to be about insurance. Excuse me. In fact, it could be, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to make sure I complete whatever. I mean, it was whatever you were going to make sure you accomplished that day. And I would watch all these people for months and months. I was like, I can never do that because I just hated I just didn't like to see myself. I hardly like it on pictures, but I really didn't like it in video. And one day I did it. I just did it. I remember it really well because I was right outside the house, and I just recorded it. I didn't even know how to upload it. I said, I hope it uploads and whatever. Then I saw it later, and I said, that wasn't that bad. And Justin and some of the other people in that group, all they're going to bring to you is positivity. So from there, then I'll make a huge story. I started understanding what podcasts were. I started I got to give one shout out or plug to Second Shot, because that was the first podcast that I really got involved in. Not the first one I heard, but the one where I would send comments, where I would really understand. And that's Heath Oakes and his wife Jenny, but also Zach, who was a producer. Him and another gentleman were the producer, but he was the one that pointed out some of the other things. That's how we found StreamYard. That's how we understood how to flow sound through different things and microphones and all that. And so we had a guest, Aaron, who explained that the reason he got into music is because he was fascinated with the process of building or creating, right?
Right.
Remember he said that?
Mm-hmm.
It was exactly the same thing for me. And it still is, because we're nowhere near like knowing everything. But what it did do for me, I just became fascinated with it. I became fascinated with the process, the ideas, the guests, and what we could do, what we couldn't do, and things like that. And then we were blessed with people who wanted to join us on this. So for me, it became probably one of the healthiest personal activities outside of exercising and eating well that I do, because we always say this on Wednesday, we look forward to this moment because either we have a great guest or we just have, some really good things coming. And so what it has done for me is really allowed me to, in a way, be who I think always was meant to be, meaning a communicator and or producer, creator of this kind of thing. And I spend a lot of time thinking about it. So it helps when things, the day is not so great. I immediately switched to, okay, what can we do for the podcast? What's coming up? What can we do better? What better feature can we add? What better thing can we do? And so that's a long explanation to say that this has been one of the greatest personal projects that I've been a part of, because the other thing that I've learned is it's really not about me. I mean, I could have had the first original idea and all that. It's really about, the team, the whole concept, because we're not here forever, and we hope that the concept, the message continues to go, on forever. So that's a really long answer, but that's kind of what it's done for me. It's really allowed me to be, I think who I've always been. I was always afraid to do it.
Well, kind of a long answer is no problem, brother, because mine's kind of long too. But I think it's important for people to realize that, for us, it's, what it's meant and what it's done for us. So when I think about our podcast and the journey that we've been through, the one thing that comes to mind, the one word that comes to mind is commitment. And I was sharing this with my son over lunch earlier today, and a little bit, but um, I guess to put a better, put more color around it, I'm gonna tell a quick story so you guys can see where I'm coming from. And there was a long time ago. I was 8 when this happened. So let me give you a little bit of background. So my family, my dad's side of the family, come from a just they love to go out and fish, right? So they do a lot of fishing. My dad loves to fish. It grew in me as well. But my grandpa, so my dad's dad and his dad and my uncle and my cousins, and well, I mean, everybody, they just love to go out fishing. So we had this tradition when I was the first time I went with them. There was a tradition where every March, so every spring break, my dad, my uncles, and and then when I was 8, I went for the first time. We'd go out fishing to either Sonora or Chihuahua, and I'm not talking about like any resort or luxurious lake. I'm talking about places where there's no bathrooms, there's no restaurants, there's no nothing. It's the lake, the mountain, and you. And I guess that's the best way to go if you're serious about fishing. That's the best way to do it, right?
That's right.
But first time I went was 8, and I can't tell you how my mom ever allowed me to go to places like that where I wasn't going to have the resources readily available for me. But first time I went, I was 8, and we were there for almost 2.5 days and no fish. Like nobody had caught a single fish. Right now, these were fishing trips. Like I mean. We wake up at 6 a.m. We go out and fish. We don't come back till the sun is down, right? Like serious fishermen going out at sea.
This is hardcore stuff.
It's hardcore stuff. So on the third day, the beginning of the third day, I saw my grandpa. So my grandpa Jose Rosario Nájera Sr., my dad's dad. He was in the he was at the edge of the lake, and because he wouldn't go out in the boat with us. He would just he would stay behind, and he didn't like fishing that way. But so I went up to him, and because I'd see the guy, he'd sit out there with his rod, and he just sit out there and for hours and hours and hours, right? And nobody had caught anything, including himself. So
right,
and I went out there and I said, Grandpa, no, aquí no hay pescado. I had never been out there, so I don't know where I'm wrong. And 80-year-old me, I was like, aquí no hay nada. I was starting to get aburrido. I started to get bored and stuff like that. And
right,
and he looked at me and he was like, well, let me ask you something. Are you out here to fish, or are you out here to get in a fight with the fish? And I was 8 years old. I was like, I have no idea what you're asking me. I mean, I don't understand your comment. And he said, look, son, this is a commitment that we've made to ourselves, right? And something that we, because these fishing trips, let me tell you, they would start planning them in Christmas, right? So on Christmas Day, when the family would get together, that's when my dad, my grandpa, my uncle, and my cousins, they would plan these fishing trips. The fishing trip that we were going to have the week of spring break. And so it is like when you're committed, when you make a self-commitment, to do something, it's not always going to go right. And it's not always going to be the best, and it's not always going to be successful. But sticking to your commitment is what's important. So we're out here, and I'm fishing, and you're looking at me. I have no idea if we're going to catch anything all week long. Right. But what's important is that you understand that you keep on trying. Don't give up. Right. Don't give up on the commitment that you made. Right. I kind of understood his message. I mean, obviously, I still wanted to fish, is what I was thinking about. But I think self commitments are the one type of commitment that are so difficult, because we all have work commitments, we have business commitments, we have
because
spouse commitment.
To your point, this is still labor of love.
Exactly.
although we may be to the point where we can do some different things, but
yep. So all those things, I don't want to say they're easy commitments, right? It's to your spouse, to your family, to your job, things like that. But think about how you're doing with your self commitments, right? Right. And I think, you know, I always think about that moment when I had that conversation with Grandpa, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody more committed. You know, we're somewhere in the middle of Chihuahua or Sonora. There's nothing around us. We have no other reason to be there other than to fish, and we're not catching any fish.
Right.
And so he told me, I'm not here to fight with the fish. I'm here because I made a commitment to come out here and fish. Right.
Right.
And it's not easy. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not easy, but I think that's the sacrifice that this podcast has really taught me, because it's like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's not easy. You know, we don't get in here and we start pressing numbers and talking. I mean, there's scripts that we write, and then we got to prep our guests. We got to find our guests, and then we got to prep them, and then we got to prep our producer, and then we got to prep our show, and then, you know, the music, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it, you know, what's going on? You know, I do have to admit something, and this is what I believe kind of defines how difficult self-commitments are, right? Like self-commitments that you make to yourself. Mid-year last year, you know, I went through a little bit of hardship and, you know, some difficult times, and towards the end of the year, and there were, I want to say, kind of interfering with my commitment for the podcast. And
was it the Cowboys record?
No, no, it you know, no, it wasn't that. It was something else. It was, you know, with my family and just something personal, but it took everything in my power to not call you and tell you that I wasn't sure that I can continue with the podcast, right? Yeah. But I do want to tell you that something happened. So I was in here in this room, and I was thinking, you know, contemplating and just thinking about, like, kind of like having a self, you know, me moment, just to wrap my mind around everything that was happening. And something strange happened. So my wife, Minerva, she walked in here. The most difficult day out of the whole deal that happened. She walks in here, and it was a Wednesday, right? About midday. And she walks in here and she asked me, she looked at me and she asked, at what time is your podcast today? Right. And for me, that was such an emotional moment, because that right there, you know, made me realize, hey man, you know, just wake up, continue with your commitment. You got this. Whatever's happening, you can still do what you need to handle that. But these commitments right here are gonna, you know, is what's gonna really take you to that next level. So, in summary, I think this podcast has done a lot for my commitments, self commitments, but also, you know, with the support of you guys and everybody else. But I think it's just so critical that we now and then we analyze how well we're doing with our self commitments.
Well, we are accountable. We want to feel accountable to people, because this wasn't just, you know, a fun little thing that we do to hear ourselves talk, like I said earlier, or hear ourselves or see ourselves on camera. We really, really believe in the mission of the title of the podcast and the description, which I wanted to say a little bit about. Really and truly, when you and I had to go on our own, or did go on our own, as far as work, there was someone who told me literally like that, you know, for every problem there is an opportunity. And when he told me, I was so stressed and so, you know, thinking I had made a wrong choice and things like that as far as work, that I said, he's crazy. How can, you know, that doesn't make any sense. But he kept telling me over and over, and I don't want to use his name because I didn't ask him if I could, but the more I heard it, the more I let it just make sense in my mind, the more I said, you know, he's absolutely right. Plus, never mind that he's owned a very, very successful business for many years. And so I knew that he wasn't giving me anything. He wasn't just giving me, you know, how do we say it, from the lips out, or whatever that is. He was really giving me advice.
He wasn't giving you
he wasn't giving me lip service. He was really giving me, you know, advice from his experience in running his own business, a really big business. And, you know, that's where it was coming from, because he probably knew exactly how I felt in those early days. So that's where the title came from. That's how passionate, and that's how deeply we believe in the title. Not only that, in the message. When we look for people, and again, it doesn't mean that there isn't other people that we can speak to. That's why we make the invitation, because we don't know all the stories. We just kind of look for people that we know maybe have been through some things, or some you know, some of the guests we've had who have been in, you know, who are trying to make it in the world of professional music. That world is brutal. Yeah. And so
Hmm.
That's the kind of message we want to bring every week. We take it as seriously where it doesn't also become, another job or another stress. We really take seriously the message we bring. Live shows, they don't always work out because there is the process of seeing if someone can be there. There is a process of a lot of the things, and and hopefully technology works. But we chose live because it makes us different from the other podcasts. The reason we watch sports, I think, and the reason that I will go just about to any concert, doesn't matter who it is because it is a live show. It is the people. So when you see us, it is us now in real time. It is our guests in real time. You can comment, you can ask. That was one of the things that I envisioned being as far as a show, because we could record shows, let somebody, make them pretty, or, take out all the bad stuff. But we want it to be that raw, positive energy that comes, mostly weekly.
Absolutely, and you couldn't have said it any better. I think in the big scheme of things, again, it's about reaching out to the community and our friends and family, and just being part of our dream and our goal. But again, thank you so much. It's just been a great year, and thank again the Lord above for helping us and putting us the means so that we can tackle some of these situations.
Yes, and a couple of things. Number one, I don't see a lot of names in the chat. I mean, I see some people that commented. So if you want to win that second piece of jewelry, that's the only way we're going to put your name in the drawing. Also, a couple of last-minute announcements. Well, not announcements, but I had to ask. I was waiting for a text. But so our very first actual guest, I mean, we had our show. It was just you and I, but our very first guest was Fabiola Segovia.
Yes.
And I had seen she's only on Instagram, but I had seen an announcement today where she is a lawyer. She has been with a very big firm here locally, and she is now going to branch off and be her own. She's going to have her own office.
Wow.
And I think that's wonderful because, so what I'm going to do is post her logo. She gave me permission to do that. This is what's coming. Specialize in immigration law. I want people to hear that. Personal injury, and then some family law. And she's, I think, a brilliant up-and-coming lawyer, bilingual, Hispanic. And so I didn't know that until today. But this is what's coming down from one of our first guests. Well, our first guest.
Our first guest. Yep.
We're very grateful for. Give us a chance to feature. So this is going to be probably all over the place. Probably within 30 to 60 days, probably maybe sooner. But that's again Fabiola. And if anybody has questions about that and how to get in touch with her, for sure let us know.
Congratulations, Fabiola. That's awesome. That's great news.
Yeah. And also Itzayana, who is also one of the guests, and of course my daughter. She's I'm gonna shame her a little bit, but shame her and push her a little bit. But she is going to also have her YouTube channel. She calls it a YouTube channel. I'm gonna call it a podcast. But she's collaborating with our producer for different things. And again, opportunities, because
Yep.
And I want to say one thing. It's a little personal for us, but what's been the greatest, I'm just gonna call it legacy. We never know how long we're going to be on this world. We know that from Mom, and it's going to be great that all this content is going to be online forever. We assume forever. For maybe folks who want, all we have is pictures of people and stories. People, our grandchildren maybe, or it's just going to be there. And so that our own children are also taking on to, okay, maybe they've been thinking of it for a while too, and maybe they just didn't know how to go, and looking at this show and looking at us, do the best we can has now, spurred them into it, because a year ago I would have never imagined, calling Israel, hey, can you produce this wedding for me? And just saying that, and then him knowing what to do. I would have never imagined that.
Oh yeah, it's great. I really appreciate the fact that like you think of me when this kind of stuff comes up because I really enjoy doing it, and just in general, like we wouldn't really talk like maybe once a month or once every 2 months, and now it's like constantly, like every week, we interact a lot more often. It's great.
Exactly, and that was the other point I was going to make is I don't know that there's been a day since September. I don't want to get emotional, but since September of 2019 that we haven't spoken. So
Yep. Yep. And this is what it's all about. Israel and I did have that conversation about how this has also, brought our family close together. I mean, there's so many things. Here, let me share one thing that maybe people don't know about. So I have a toy poodle that when we first started this podcast, he always follows me around everywhere I move in the house. So including coming here in my office when I was getting ready to do the show. So my daughter Galilea now understands that her responsibility is to take care of him while I'm here, because if the door rings or somebody moves, he'll start barking. So I want to thank her for also assisting me in this journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
See,
Exactly.
those are the things, because of the kind of things that happen.
Yeah, Aitana's kind of salty because we haven't invited her, but then right away she says, "Well, what would I talk about?"
Exactly.
But it's not that. It's just that Aitana wanted to give her message out for she's type 1, and she wanted to put that message out, and she's going to focus on that a lot on her channel, and so it's not that. It's just again, anyone who has an idea who dares, let's just say, to come on here live with us is welcome. So. Man, I think we were on here longer than we expected, but it's all great stuff, and
It is.
I want to thank my family, not only my wife and the girls, and so everyone who watches, because they were, of course, our first fans, right? Like every other person who creates things, you start there. Not only have they always supported us, but they always give us ideas. They always tell us when something maybe is not great. And that's exactly the way I envisioned it. That's the way so I want to thank them very, very much. They're watching, and that's one of the big thanks I want to give to our guests, the guests who agreed to do this, who watch and everything like that, and of course our viewers, because you take time out of your day to either watch it live or watch it later, or watch it in pieces.
Absolutely. And thank you also to everybody that's participated. We have a few faithful viewers that don't miss a show ever since we started. Thank you guys. Thank you for all your support and time.
Yeah, I know one person just because he's my tocayo. So tocayo in English is just when you have the same name, Javier de la Riva, and I'm going to give him a shout out because every single show, every single time we make a comment, every single thing, and I know he's a friend, got invited by Carlos Flores, one of our guests and our childhood friends. Thank you. So it's people like that that motivate us to make sure and keep going.
Absolutely. So, man, it's been a great journey, brother.
Yep, it's been great. Israel, anything else?
No, hopefully we get to do more and just have fun, keep growing, and just keep it going.
Oh, I have faith that we have great guests coming up. We're just pinning down the dates and that sort of thing. It's gonna be great. It's all. I always have faith and hope that it will be. So let's close it out. And when we did the slideshow earlier, I missed the original logo, but you're going to be able to see it in just a minute. Also, the original song, which was also played and produced and written by Israel. So thank you all very much for that. For my brother, my name is Javier, and we are Problems.
And for my brother, my name is Jorge, and Opportunities. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.